Christianity has given the world a wonderful ethical principle. It's called the Golden Rule, and it's found in Matthew chapter 7, verse 12. And the most common translation and phrasing is, do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. And many Christians think this is a unique teaching of Jesus, and it's there in the gospel. And it's different from other religions, different from Islam for sure, and Judaism and all those Eastern religions. And this golden rule is the summit of ethical behavior. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. And it is a marvelous principle, this golden rule. I just want to share with you some thoughts about it from Bart Ehrman's The Bible, a historical and literary introduction, because a lot about this golden rule that people often don't know. And I want to share this information with you. And also, let's see what Islam actually teaches. Does Islam teach anything similar or comparable to the golden rule, or is it really nothing like this exquisite teaching of Jesus, as many Christians, of course, would assume? Nothing like that would exist in Islam. So Bart Ehrman says on the golden rule, the most familiar form of the golden rule is do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Many people think that Jesus was the first to propound this ethical principle, but in fact, it was given in a variety of forms by moral philosophers from the ancient world. In most of these formulations, it was expressed negatively, stating what should not be done rather than positively. The rule was found, for example, among the ancient Greeks many centuries before Jesus. One of the characters described by the Greek historian Herodotus, 5th century BCE, said, I will not myself do that which I consider to be blameworthy in my neighbor. I will not myself do that which I consider to be blameworthy in my neighbor. And the Greek orator Isocrates, 4th century BCE, said, you should be such in your dealings with others as you would expect me to be in my dealings with you. The saying was also present in Eastern cultures, most famously on the lips of Confucius, 6th century BCE, who said, do not do to others what you would not want others to do to you. Do not do to others what you would not want others to do to you. Nearer to Jesus' time, the Golden Rule was endorsed in various forms of wording in a number of Jewish writings. For example, in the apocryphal book of Tobit. Now, when Bart Ehrman says the apocryphal book of Tobit, this is actually in the Catholic Bible. It was accepted by most in the early church as being part of the Bible, but because it's not accepted by Protestants, for some reason he calls it the apocryphal book. But anyway, in this book, we read, and what you hate, do not do to anyone. And what you hate, do not do to anyone. That's a great saying. And in an ancient Jewish interpretation of the book of Leviticus, that's obviously in the Old Testament, we read, do not do to him, your neighbor, what you yourself hate. Do not do to him, your neighbor, what you yourself hate. And of course, we have the famous rule in Leviticus, love your neighbor as yourself. Love your neighbor. But perhaps the best known expression of the rule in Jewish circles, however, comes from the most revered rabbi of Jesus' day, the famous Rabbi Hillel. A pagan approached the rabbi and promised him that he would convert to Judaism if Hillel could recite the entire Torah while standing on one leg. Now, there are 613 commandments of the Torah. Hillel's terse reply sounds remarkably like the statement of Jesus in Matthew 7:12. He said, what is hateful to you, do not do to your neighbor. That is the whole Torah, while the rest is commentary. Go and learn it. This is a very clever, typically clever Jewish rabbi's response. So, what is the summary of the Torah? Whatever is hateful, do not do to your neighbor. That's the whole Torah. The rest is merely commentary, he says. Jesus, in short, was not the only teacher of his day who taught the Golden Rule, or who thought that the essence of the law of Moses could be summed up in the commandment to love. So I think it's fascinating. But what about Islam? And you Google this and you can see lots of answers. Just looking at the Wikipedia article on the Golden Rule, which gives lots and lots of examples from various religions. And there's a few from Islam I just wanted to share. I think they're particularly delightful and beautiful in a way. One hadith says, a Bedouin came to the Prophet, this is the Prophet Muhammad, grabbed the stirrup of his camel and said, O messenger of God, teach me something to go to heaven with it. The prophet said, as you would have people do to you, do to them. And what you dislike to be done to you, don't do to them. Now let the stirrup go. Another one, this is from An Nawari's famous 40 Hadith collection. None of you truly believes until he wishes for his brother what he wishes for himself. So how similar that is to the other quotes from by Ehrman's book. Another one, seek for mankind that of which you are desirous for yourself, that you may be a believer. Another one, that which you want for yourself, seek for mankind. And another one, the most righteous person is the one who consents for other people what he consents for himself, and who dislikes for them what he dislikes for himself. And there's a slightly longer one from Ali, the son-in-law of the Prophet and the fourth caliph in Sunni Islam. And he is recorded as saying, "O my child, make yourself the measure for dealings between you and others. Thus, you should desire for others what you desire for yourself, and hate for others what you hate for yourself. Do not oppress as you do not like to be oppressed. Do good to others as you would like good to be done to you. Regard bad for yourself, whatever you regard bad for others. Accept that treatment from others which you would like others to accept from you. Do not say to others what you do not like to be said of to you." So that's from letter 31 by Ali. So many people, particularly in the West, think the Golden Rule is basically first propounded, first given to the world by Jesus. Actually, it's found in Islam, it's found in Confucius, it's found in even in negative form in Greek philosophy. So there's very little I've discovered in the teaching of Jesus that really is unique. Actually, nearly all of it is rooted in Jewish teaching found in his own interpretation of the Torah, basically, and it's not really brand new at all. But I just wanted to emphasize that the Golden Rule is found not only in the Gospels, but in Judaism and especially importantly, I think today in Islam. And there are many, many hadith and statements of the companions and others which endorse the Golden Rule in a more expansive form in Ali's case. So I just found that very interesting. Till next time.